electrostatic hybrids, for those who don't know the advantage of an electrostatic, and I've always forgotten to mention this, there's a very thin membrane. When it's being driven, its own mass is less than the air load that's on it. So it gets its force applied uniformly over the whole area by perforated, in this case it's actually parallel wires that work against the charge that's sitting on the membrane. So the whole membrane has like no choice but to do exactly what it's commanded to do by the electricity that's stepped up from the signal from the amp. I don't know, was that clear?
Perfect.
All right, so the speaker has 3 different sets of transducers. There are 2 electrostatic panels here, and they're crossed at 500 hertz to these 2 8-inch woofers. They don't maybe look like 8s because the hole is just to the edge of the surrounds, and the basket goes out to about here. And I just thought it looked cooler this way. The grills actually participate a little bit in the way the sound comes out. They slightly filter the very top end because it's a little too much. The electrostatic panels are divided electrically down the middle, and the high frequencies are kept out of the inboard half. That gives you 2 different apertures to make, they're overlapping, so the high frequencies come out at like 20 degrees, and then the mid-range also comes out at 20 degrees. So you wind up with a uniform frequency response over about a 20-degree angle horizontally. The electrostatic panels are decanted a little bit this way to make the vertical listening window a little taller. It would be like a ½ inch. It's more like 5 inches. It's like 5 degrees, so 5 inches at 10 feet or something. They're tri-amplified. There are 3 Hypex encores in there to do the amplification. The crossovers in DSP, that is digital signal processing, does the crossing over. There's a little bit of EQ to help deal with things like edge diffraction, that are the kind of things that you can deal with using EQ without wrecking the sound. These are special. The model is Valentina A8. A for active, 8 for 8-inch woofers, but these are the A8 SE for stereo everywhere. That means that they can be switched into Omni mode using the remote, or back to the very directive mode that they're, well, all Jensen speakers have had up until I had lost a customer to an omnidirectional speaker maker.
When they're directional, so what's the sweet spot? Would we all be in the sweet spot?
No, you won't be.
Just him?
You 3 guys will be pretty much in it, and as you get farther back, yeah, I guess you would be, but then you're not in the vertical anymore. So you'll get quite a bit of high frequency roll off. The top octave will be 10 dB down. The next octave will be like 5 dB down. But if you put it in Omni mode, everybody gets all the high frequencies standing or seated, and the sound, it's sort of like when you do that, it brings the performance into the room. And when it's in the directional mode, it brings you sort of into the ambience that was recorded, because it rejects the room almost completely. Practically no wall splash, very little floor and ceiling splash. So that's, I don't know, some people call it this, I like to call it you are there versus they are here. A nice thing though, relative to an actual true Omni, this I would call a synthetic Omni, because this extra sound is delayed by a few milliseconds, so your ear can lock onto the image before the ambient sound arrives. So it doesn't, the ambient sound, unlike a regular Omni, doesn't dilute the precision of the image. It's also contoured to match the frequency response of Boston Symphony Hall, which is really good for classical, but it's also good for everything. I tried a flat response and it was just way too bright, way too annoying. All right, got all the inputs that you would have in a preamp, and you can switch between them. The DAC is built in. They're a complete system. So I'll be playing through a little Bluetooth receiver, streaming Cobuzz. That's the whole system.
hard floors. I took tons of pictures. There's a couple of videos I'm going to post in here, and see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.